How's it going, Twitch? My name is Skull, and on behalf of East Asia Soft, welcome to today's stream. Today I am continuing my playthrough of Sunny Café, a Taiwanese visual novel coffee-making simulator. I played this on Tuesday, and it's a whole lot of fun. And this game is out now on Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One and Series consoles. Hello, Dim. It's okay. Don't worry about it. They're not telling me to do this, but I thought that I would mention before I start that we actually have a lot of games that are going to be releasing here in the next few weeks physically, so head on over to playasia.com/exclusives and pick some up. So, let's see here. It looks like we got Janyan Sword 7, Hakuoki, Chronicles of Wind and Blossom, Kwaidan, Dead in Vinland, and Saintmaker coming out here in just the next few weeks. For sure, half of those that I just mentioned are going to be releasing in April 15, and the other half are listed as Q2 2024, so could be April, could be May, could be June, but they're coming out really soon. And we also have a physical pre-order available for Thunder Ray on Nintendo Switch. So if you guys want to get some PlayAsia physical games, or some East Asia Soft physical games, head over to playasia.com and get some of them. Remember, PlayAsia offers free worldwide shipping on orders over $100. That's a lot of games coming out here. In just quarter one, so in just the last 3 months, there's only been one physical release from East Asia Soft, and that was Double D Collection. So we got something like 5 or 7 games here releasing in just the next few weeks. Head over there and pick them up. Anyway, you guys aren't here for me to talk about the ads of upcoming games. You guys are here to watch me play through this really fun visual novel coffee making game. Let's go ahead and continue where we left off. Meanwhile, Alvin Zhang sits there, browsing through his phone without interest, head down and looking like he is bored out of his brain. Bella Chen, on the other hand, sits there sipping her coffee, sneakily gauging Alvin Zhang. I've been learning Japanese, not Chinese. Although Alvin Zhang notices Bella Chen's occasional glances, he isn't interested in engaging in conversation. Bella Chen asks quietly. Hearing the sound, Alvin Zhang turns to look at the left, where Bella Chen is. She has her hands cupped to her face like she is mimicking a megaphone.
怎么了吗？
我第一次见到你就想问你了，你是不是那个短跑很厉害的那位？
Audio, there we go. Let's definitely boost up the voiceover and down the mid. Oh, it already is. How about that? Let's do that. See how that sounds. Alvin Zhang eyes the girl in front of him with question marks on his face.
我是擅长短跑没错，但应该没有到很厉害啦。
哦，那应该就是你没错啦。我身边的女孩们总喜欢讨论你呢。
Realization suddenly hits Bella Chen, and she stares at Alvin Zhang with a mysterious look on her face. Alvin Zhang uncertainly watches Bella Chen's smiling face, a chill starting to trickle down his back the longer he holds her gaze.
你觉得我该跟那群女孩们说说，你常常出现在缘起吗？
Bella Chen starts praising Alvin Zhang with a conniving smile on her face, as if she is cooking up a scheme. I just realized there's a picture in the background of an orca whale just chilling on like a golf course. Does anybody else see that? Bella Chen right now looks like the big bad wolf who is about to trick Little Red Riding Hood. All she's missing are the fluffy ears and the wagging tail.
Eh?
Alvin Zhang goes speechless, glaring at Bella Chen in a panic.
开玩笑的，我才没有那么无聊。
Bella Chin sticks her tongue out, returning to her usual manner of talking.
我只是有点事情想请你帮忙。
Bella Chin blinks her pretty eyes and stares expectantly at Alvin Zhang. After taking the customer's order, I return to the other side of the bar to watch Alvin Zhang and Bella Chin fooling around, their actions unexpectedly bringing a laugh out of me. Might as well use the opportunity to practice blooming with the pour-over method. And
花瓣式注水法，选一个浅焙又不易抓出风味的咖啡豆来练练手吧。
I expected to have to do something there, but I guess not. I carefully read the instructions for petal-shaped drippers and make up my mind to practice this more difficult dripping method to brew more flavorful coffee. Get behind the bar and brew some coffee. Well, I guess now it's time for me to do that. I mostly use a gooseneck kettle. It's great for beginners and helps you control the flow of water. Yeah, okay. Oh, this. Oh, boy. These two. Okay. Those are the only two of that. Shoot. Woo! I did pretty okay there. What the... Holy... This is really hard to do with an analog stick. Let me try this. Okay, Dim. I don't think this is much easier, but I'm kind of committed now. I have my controller on my desk and I'm using two of my fingers. I think I preferred my thumb. That's okay. I don't think I could do much better than that. A+, I'll take it. Ethiopia Yurgachefi? Boy, I know nothing about coffee. I can't even pronounce that. Oh yeah, I got my haircut. I told you guys I would. I still need to intentionally get a D rank in one of these for a trophy. Somebody posted a guide on how to get a platinum trophy in this game in only 35 to 40 minutes. I assume most of that involves skipping the story, but I want to see the story because, come on, visual novel. Looking at the coffee in my hand, I smile confidently. Chapter 3, Taking the Initiative.
宇恒啊，你喜欢吃什么点心？宇恒啊，你喜欢什么颜色？宇恒啊，你喜欢猫还是狗还是其他？宇恒啊，你喜欢什么类型的女生啊？
你到底够了没？
拜托，回答这几个问题就好了。放心，我绝对不会卖掉你的，真的。
发什么疯啊？
等等啊，不要放生我啊！
说清楚。
好啦，我说就是了，不就是有人找我探探你的口风吗？
Oh? Alvin Zhang puts his arms up in surrender, then starts scratching his hair exasperatedly.
为什么？
我怎么知道啊？可能对你有意思吧。
太闲没事做是不是？管这种事情？
你以为我想啊？这还不是因为要是我不帮他，他就要暴露我的行踪哎。
Oh, it's a girl then.
恐吓，你的挚友被恐吓了，你就没有一点心疼吗？
哦，我应该要吗？
喂，你怎么一副不在意的样子啊？
You don't have a heart. Am I supposed to? What?
能增加客人量有什么不好？
肯定不好。你想这样，我们俩谈心事的时间是不是就全部被剥夺了？
不，你说的几乎都是没营养的话。
哈，您就行行好，开开金口，回答这几个小问题就行了嘛。
自己惹出来的问题，自己处理。
等等，这明明是你的问题，怎么一副与你无关的样子啊？
那怎么就不检讨一下？要不是你自己平日老是招蜂引蝶，人家又怎么会有你的把柄？
不是啊，这我没办法控制啊。
I can't help but be me.
自己处理。
啊，
Alvin Zhang collapses on the bar, writhing and moaning like a kid who can't get his candy.
文言大哥，你说说我该怎么办才好？
Alvin Zhang looks at Benedict Wong pleadingly, but Benedict Wong only looks back at him with a stiff laugh.
这个吗？我能有什么办法啊？他的脾气你又不是不知道。
The miserable sounds of Alvin Zhang's wails echo through the quiet afternoon cafe.
你简直是扔了个大麻烦给我啊！
The bubbling of the milk heating in the kettle sounds extra clear in the quiet cafe. I twist my head to look, only to find Kathy Gu, who is usually in high spirits, working away at her translation. For some unknown reason, she looks like she is tired and slumped over the table. Did she fall asleep? I take a black cotton jacket off the clothing rack in the staff room and walk over to Kathy Gu to blanket her with the jacket. The moment the jacket touches Kathy Gu's back, however, Kathy Gu suddenly reaches out her left hand to grab my arm. I was somewhat taken aback by her suddenly grabbing my arm, unsure how to react. I don't have time to guess what happened to Kathy Gu. I immediately squat down to check on her and to see if she is all right.
好了，
还好吗？
想要喝点热的。
The feeble voice sounds in my ears. Right now, she is so frail, like a marionette whose strings could snap at any moment.
好，等我。
I wrap the jacket tightly around her with some effort, then quickly heat up a glass of warm milk for her. After pouring the heated milk into a plain white mug, I even add some honey before bringing it to Kathy Gu's table.
喝吧，我热了蜂蜜牛奶。
I squat down next to her, but she remains in the position I left her in. I gently pat her on the shoulder before she moves, slowly raising her head. Her face is pale, her eyes a bit wet, her once rosy lips now drained of color. She looks like death. I push the mug in front of her. She weakly grabs onto its sides like she's trying to siphon the warmth from it. After a while, she manages to lift up the mug and take a sip of the honey milk. I'm not sure where I got the courage, but I reach out to feel her forehead, discovering that she hasn't caught a fever, though the bangs on her forehead are soaked, some of it even sticking to her skin. After Kathy Gu's downed about half a mug of honey milk, she slumps back onto the table, clutching the jacket tightly with both her hands, seemingly wanting to shrink herself into the jacket, wrapped with only her tiny head popping out.
谢谢你。
Her voice still sound sickly, but it's a lot better than before.
怎么了吗？
Layla Guo, I can't pronounce that. Layla Guo pokes her head out from behind me, curiously glancing at Kathy Gu.
他好像很不舒服。
刚刚不是还好好的，怎么突然就不舒服了？
Layla Guo ponders as she observes the pallid Kathy Gu slumped on the table.
该不会是生理期？
我只是生理期有些不舒服，没事的。
Okay. Kathy Gu limply says, as with her head slightly raised. Periods. I didn't know what I was supposed to do in a situation like this, so I glanced at Layla Guo for help. Hi, Tim, what a thing for you to come back to. My brow subconsciously knots even tighter.
没事，喝过热的，好好休息就行了。
I can't put my finger on it, but it feels like Layla Guo's eyes are wavering, but they quickly regain their usual calm and collected composure. She is right, however. Kathy Gu's complexion clearly looks a lot better than before.
于恒，你就别愁眉苦脸了。
Layla Guo says with a chuckle, poking me on the brow with her index finger. Her out-of-nowhere gesture catches me off guard. I can only react with gently grabbing her wrist, telling her to knock it off.
没事啦，因为你的蜂蜜牛奶才让我缓解疼痛的，真的。
Hearing Kathy Gu's words, a weight is lifted off my chest.
我只要再休息一下就好的，你快点去忙你的事情吧。
Kathy shoos her hand to hurry me off.
如果还有哪里不舒服，记得叫我。
Yeah, I can't remember if I've ever played a game that mentions it.
叫我也行。
Layla Guo says to Kathy Gu as she starts shoving Bo and Wu to the back, hastening him to his workstation. Kathy Gu smiles and nods to show that she understands.
真难得啊！在认识玉恒之后，我几乎不怎么来其他咖啡馆啊。
Alvin Zhang props one hand under his chin and drums on the plastic tabletop with his fingers of his other hand. His irritation and annoyance can be seen written all over his face. Sitting across from him is Bella Chen with a scheming smile filled with malicious intent on her face at this moment. Her large and brilliant eyes are now barely perceivable behind her squint.
我说啊，左奇，你就帮帮我这次嘛。以后你有什么事，我一定会竭尽所能的去帮帮你呀。
哎，不是这个问题啊，帮你是可以，但重点是玉恒他，烦躁。
拜托嘛。
Oh, is she the one who wants to?
总之我先说哦，帮你可以，但是成不成功我不负责哦。
那当然，我才不会这么任性呢。
Bella Chen laughs cheerfully.
以我对于恒的了解，
Alvin Zhang speechlessly stares at the girl in front of him, smiling like the Cheshire cat. He's holding his forehead in his palms, not wanting to speak more on the matter. Whatever. This woman is lost. Lost beyond words.
这个盐加太少。
是。
这上面放的是罗勒，不是花椰菜。
Oh my god, imagine putting broccoli in coffee. Oh, God help us.
对不起。
Why does a coffee shop even have broccoli?
错了，这边不是放凤梨。
抱歉。
Why does a coffee shop have all this stuff?
杯沿要记得放上柠檬切片。
差点忘记。
我说啊，梦璇，
I lean against the doorframe, watching Angela He's actions. Gives me a pause for words. Obviously, Bo and Wu felt helpless at Angela He's recklessness. I'm terrified that I will hurt her if I say too much, but at the same time, with her being such a klutz, I'm worried that it will eventually result in a cascade of failure.
对不起啊，我一直帮倒忙，真的很对不起。
Angela He makes an apologetic full 90-degree bow in Bo and Wu's direction.
行了行了，我知道你一直有在努力，只是
资质很差。
The previously silent Beavis Zhou next to me suddenly interjects, while still smoothly and skillfully finishing his work without a moment of pause.
真的非常对不起。
Angela He still maintains her 90-degree bow, but after hearing Beavis Zhou's comment, she sinks even lower.
话也不能这么说，他的进步你肯定比别人清楚，可不是吗？
Bo and Wu now despondent. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm so tired these days. Try and get all the yawns out. Get them out. Bo and Wu, now despondent, watches the pair in front of him. The tension in the air can almost be felt. However, after Beavis Zhou takes a glance at Angela He, you could see a smile forming in his eyes, even as he quietly continues his own work without saying a word. At this moment, Layla Guo lackadaisically strolls over beside me and opens her mouth to say,
你还记得我喜欢什么风味的咖啡吗？
I know Layla Guo doesn't have a habit of adding cream or sugar to her coffee, but if you're asking me about her coffee preference, the only thing I know is she usually enjoys sweet and sour desserts. Does she like blackberry flavored coffee? Okay, time to get behind the counter and make some coffee. I need to go with a... I need to get a D. I think I need to get a D for my trophy. A D rank for the first time, yep. Holy cow, there's so many of these things. Okay. Need a D. So much. That is so much coffee grounds. Yes! Yes, I got the worst possible grade. Let's go. Give me that trophy! I earned it fair and square. Well then, leave it to the pros to brew.
果然呢，你不记得呢？
Layla Guo says, frustrated, but with a smile. I'm going to try my best from here on out. I just had to do that for someone. Kathy Gu is currently sitting at one of Origin's innermost corners, cracking her stiff neck and limbs. Been there. After she accepted Bo and Wu's offer, she has become one of the regular guests at Origin. After stretching out her limbs, Kathy Gu looks through the window, the setting sun outside casting down a golden red light that reflects blindingly off the cement walls of the houses across the street. To Kathy, who has lived most of her life in the flourishing cities up north, a sight like this is something that she has not quite gotten used to yet. But what is undeniable is that the buildings found in Tainan have not been exposed to modern aesthetics, and that they still possess a unique classical quality. It is a scenic view that cannot be described by words.
是西凡吗？上次好像听于恒是这么称呼你的。
An elegant and soothing voice comes from above her head, pulling Kathy Gu back out from her immersion in the magnificent sunset. Kathy Gu lifts her head at the sound of the voice and realizing that the one who is calling her is the charming girl from last time. Her face is dyed with the golden red light from outside the window. With a warm smile on her face, she watches Kathy Gu.
我是
Kathy Gu nods her head in bewilderment and stares back at Layla Guo before answering her question.
你是于恒的朋友吗？最近好像常常在店里看到你呢。
Layla Guo flashes another smile at Kathy Gu before following up with,
你好，我是瓜千灵。
算是吧。最近接受了于恒学长的委托，所以常常到这边来。
Remembering that the kind and pretty girl in front of her is the type that she herself admires, Kathy Gu could only smile and answer, too shy to face the girl head on.
学长，西凡是大医生吗？
是的。
Kathy Gu slowly nods her head.
原来是这样，我和于恒一样，也是大二生。
Layla Guo says, eyeing the scattered pieces of paper and books on Kathy Gu's table.
这些是
Layla Guo asks as she reaches out to pick up one of the English books on the table, titled Ska and Book, and randomly flips through a couple of pages.
这些就是
Oh,
于
it's
恒学长委托我
SCA
的翻译的文
handbook.
件。
It's SCA Handbook. Okay.
呃，
Layla Guo places the book back onto the table, slightly purses her lips, and lets out a low hum.
怎么了吗？
Kathy Gu stares at Layla Guo in confusion, not quite sure of her sudden silence.
没什么。哦，我正打算跟于恒讨论办个聚会，到时候要是你有空的话，可别缺席哦。
好的。
After Layla Guo finishes what she had to say, she spins around and leaves, leaving the somewhat stunned Kathy Gu rooted to the spot.
感觉缘起的大家都好温暖哦，应该会很有趣吧？有点期待呢。
Kathy Gu starts laughing nonsensically, her large, expressive eyes screwed up into slits, a sweet aura radiating from her person like a flower blooming in the spring. Maybe it was Beavis Zhou's overly harsh criticism toward Angela He just now that caused her to be washing dishes inside the kitchen with a depressed expression. Beavis Zhou seems to notice as well. He's usually not sure of what to say, so he comes up to me, embarrassed, and talks.
帮我泡杯有核果味的咖啡，淡一些。
Roasted walnut flavor. That's weird. When did Beavis start to like roasted walnut flavored coffee? Isn't it Angela who likes nut flavored coffee? Okay. Walnut. Okay, Kenya AA. Good to remember. Not his, though. Walnut. I don't hate it, is what he says. For Sumatra. I'm going Costa Rican. Between 12 and 18. Good enough. It's technically between them. 3.5, I think is what that says. Oh, I never played that. So, yeah, I guess maybe it does. 3.5. Right about there. I know nothing about coffee. I think I've made that very clear by now, so I got a B. Well then, leave it to the pros to brew.
平淡。
Viva Joe gives me a look and says, Chapter 4, The Memories from Childhood Till Now. You have to pick the beans, how much sugar, etc., while you only get very vague information. Well, I think that describes this pretty well. This guy has a coffee poster and a coffee tasters something, like he's got coffee posters in his room. I'm not one to talk. I've got Pokemon posters in my room. I would have an East Asia Soft poster in my room if they made them. Give me a big movie poster size poster of If My Heart Had Wings, and I would hang that. I would buy like 5 copies of it and hang it up in every single room of my house, including my bathroom above the toilet. Make this happen, Moe Novel. I've always thought the weather on summer mornings never felt that good. The big shiny sun is already high up in the blue sky this early in the morning. It's so bright I can't open my eyes. Scorching hot weather is hard for anyone who wants to stay in bed. Just thinking about it makes me frustrated. 6:50 a.m. on a Saturday. I gently touch the screen of my phone, look at the time, and whisper to myself. Wake up. Not wanting to stay in bed in this hot weather, I quickly get up and wash up after yawning.
Wait.
Surprise!
I understood that word! A very high-pitched and intellectual female voice comes through the phone, which is a bit irritating to listen to. Unconsciously frowning, I bring the phone further away from my ear to avoid damaging it. Who is this? This isn't Chen, is it? Bella Chen?
你这反应也太平淡了。
This is Camilla. Is this his mom? Sister, maybe? I'm going with mom. I can start to sense the woman on the other end is not too happy.
你早该习惯了，不是一如既往吗？
呀，我弟弟怎么长越大就越无趣啊？
快点说正事吧。
你还真是急性子呢，一点都不会想和姐姐嘘寒问暖一下吗？
Sister, got it.
等见到面，不就该知道的都知道了？
嘿嘿，那你要和我嘘寒问暖的那天，恐怕就快到了呢。
要回来吗？
就是啊，我可是安排了个长假，打算回家好好休息一趟呢。
I could use a vacation.
你也是蛮会挑时间的。
怎么说？
正好我前阵子才打算办个员工聚餐，到时候你也一起来吧。
肯定啊，这种热闹的场合怎么能少了我？记得一定要算上我。
等你回来。
Bowen gently says with a not so obvious smile on his delicate face.
于恒，你突然这么有人性的发言，怎么让我有点不太习惯呢？
你也是蛮难伺候的。
我说笑的啦，你就乖乖等我回去吧。
Afternoon thunderstorms are something that come along with summer. With afternoon thunderstorms, there is lightning. I'm polishing a newly washed mug while looking outside at the dark, cloudy sky, wondering to myself when the first drop of rain will fall. Unexpectedly, as I'm zoning out, the sound of heavy rain can suddenly be heard pouring down outside the window. The cafe's door is pushed open by a pair of wrinkled hands, the bell on top of the door starting to sound as the door opens and closes. It feels weird hearing the bell, because I only came in early to start prepping. It's not even time for business yet. I look up to where the sound of the bell comes from. The face that greets my eyes is one I've been more than familiar with since I was young. I smile and put down the mug in my hand and walk over to greet the middle-aged man.
好久不见了，张叔。
The middle-aged man in front of me isn't tall. His body is a bit thin and frail. By the looks of him, he should be around 50 years old. He's wearing a dark green fisherman's hat. You can see some parts of the hat are worn down and have been patched up. The brown hair streaked with gray and the lines in his rough skin give away his age.
啊，是于恒啊，真的好些日子没见过了呢。
Uncle Jean says to Bowen with a smile.
是啊，好一阵子没见了。张叔，还是让我先给您带位吧。
麻烦你了。
I bring Uncle Jean to the seat at the bar where he usually sits and hand him the menu that lies on the table.
怎么没瞧见你的父亲和母亲呢？
The middle-aged man Bowen calls Uncle Jean turns his stiff body to look around the cafe for familiar faces he would recognize.
家父和家母前阵子两人一起出国旅行了。
哦，该不会是为了尝遍世界各地的咖啡吧？
Uncle Jean says with a laugh. That's exactly what they're doing.
您老人家还真是了解他们呢。
See? Looking at Uncle Jean's confident answer, I'm also infected by his smile.
哎呀，你父母啊，我和他们都认识这么久了，
Oh, this is
又
cool.
怎么会猜不透
The
他们的
the
性
controller
格
is
呢？
actually glowing right now. It's the camera's not picking up the color correctly. It looks kind of pink in the camera, but in real life, it's like a dull orange, almost a brown, with like a hint of peach. It's hard to explain. The camera's not picking it up correctly, so I can't exactly show you. But still, I wasn't expecting to see the controller glowing during a visual novel like this.
说不准，您都要比我更了解他们了呢。
哎呀，于恒现在长大也学会逗笑张叔了，是吧？再怎么说，你终归才是他们最亲近的人呐。
就是跟张叔开个玩笑呢。
I reply with a laugh.
张叔还是老样子吗？
It is a nice touch. Pad. See, it's a nice touchpad, and the glow of the color is around the touchpad. You're right, Tim. It is a nice touch. Anyway. Oh. There we go. I point at the menu.
好样子，一杯特调。
没问题，再麻烦张叔稍等了。
I take back the menu from Uncle Jean and point it back, and put it back, nodding to him.
哎，不麻烦。
Uncle Jean doesn't bother to say more and just smiles back at me in silence. I go back to the bar and pick up the coffee equipment, open the jar, and scoop some coffee grounds. Gently shaking the ground coffee to expose it into the air, I smell the faintly bitter aroma of the coffee, using a small fire to heat up the water for the signature blend. Waiting for the water to reach the desired temperature, I slowly pour minimal hot water evenly on the coffee grounds, watching the coffee descend to the mug below. In no time, the signature blend coffee is done. The vivid and warm coffee fragrance fills the air, making you feel refreshed. It feels like I can sense a faint berry fragrance. The perfectly balanced sweet and sour body of the signature blend is one of the biggest reasons it leaves a deep impression.
看来于恒又进步了呢，味道很香。
Says Uncle Zhang, smiling.
张叔，您过奖了。
I bring the freshly brewed signature blend to Uncle Zhang over at the bar.
这是招待。
And I then send a raspberry milk crepe cake full of fruit garnish.
哎呀，你太客气了，于恒。我们都认识这么久的人了。
Uncle Zhang lifts the cup of blended coffee to his nose to smell, and then slowly sips.
这句话，我可就得原封不动地还给您了呢，张叔。都这么熟了，您还跟我客气这区区蛋糕做什么呢？
I'm standing at the bar smiling at Uncle Zhang. Had a sneeze. Uncle Zhang lowers his head and seems to be murmuring, his two thick hands wiping the edge of the mug.
怎么了吗？
I see some hesitation from Uncle Zhang.
于恒最近还好吗？
Uncle Zhang lifts his head and asks.
说不上太好，但也说不上太坏。
I don't look at Uncle Zhang directly, replying with a calm tone. Uncle Zhang sat there, looking at me silently, not saying anything more.
我
难道于恒还有什么事不能和张叔说的吗？
虽然我很想跟张叔说我没事，不想让人担心。
Looking at Uncle Zhang's smiling face, I say, laughing.
看来我面对张叔还是藏不住呢。
I'm not sure when it all started, knowing less and less how to express my feelings, unable to share my troubles with other people. Around Uncle Zhang, I can't hide anything from him. He sees right through me.
说吧。
被张叔这么一问，一瞬间我倒是松懈了许多呢。
I look at Uncle Zhang helplessly smiling.
我无时无刻都想着要突破。
于恒想突破的是什么？
烹调咖啡的技术，
只要今天的自己比昨天的自己进步了，那就是有所突破了，不是吗？你不是傻孩子，我相信你懂这道理。所以这并不是你真正烦恼的事情。你并没有回答到自己的根本问题，对吧？ 或许，你想突破的并不是你自己。
Hearing Uncle Zhang's words, I raise my head to look at him in shock.
现在的你，很害怕。你害怕自己将会一辈子活在你父亲和母亲的光辉之下。
怎么看出来的？
Uncle Zhang once again raises his cup to sip more coffee with a laugh.
是因为我煮的咖啡吗？
是。
The middle-aged man in front of me smiles and nods.
实在是太像了。
是说，我煮的咖啡和我父母亲煮的咖啡吗？
你总是沉浸在你所困的漩涡中，想找到解答，可你却迷路了。你总是一直想着该怎么突破你父母所烹调的咖啡。
Uncle Zhang looks at me, intrigued.
可于恒，你有没有想过，或许你转个弯，就可以替自己找到全新不一样的出路呢
I am afraid. I'm afraid that no matter what I do, I will live in the shadows of my parents. I'm afraid that even if I open my own cafe, people will just come because of my famous parents, and not because of the coffee I brew. This is indeed my biggest inner fear. That's why I've been thinking about how I could brew better coffee than my parents, with strong fundamentals to make an even more perfect version. But forgot.
忽略了，正是这样的自己，才将自己困在原地，无法前进。
一点就通，不愧是我看着长大的孩子。
Hi, Andrea. Uncle Zhang's starting to smile and slowly says this.
或许我不该只是想着在现有的基础上去突破，而是去做一个完全创新的改变。
Bowen lowers his eyes, sinking into deep thought, his already cool eyes even deeper now.
看你的表情就知道，你已经想通了。
谢谢张叔。
Bowen slowly smiles, a confident good look.
那现在的你怎么想呢？于恒现在应该也差不多该开始思考自己的未来了吧？
我想调配出属于我的特色的咖啡。客人们只要喝过一次，就会永远无法忘记的好味道。
很好啊，只要在人生旅途中能找到方向不迷失，就是件好事。不过找到方向之后，
最重要的是找到办法去实践。
I pushed the milk crepe cake towards Uncle Zhang, hinting he should eat it.
没错，没错。
Uncle Zhang laughs and nods, picking up the bronze fork and knife on the table to dig into the raspberry milk crepe cake.
张叔可以知道于恒目前具体想怎么做吗？
Uncle Zhang gently pats the seat next to him by the bar as he looks at Bowen. I put down what I was working on, walk out from behind the bar, and sit on the seat Uncle Zhang was patting, putting my hands on the counter. This reminds me of my childhood. When I was still a kid and finding my footing, Uncle Zhang and I would talk heart to heart, just like this, and he would take me seriously, even though I was just a kid. As the conversation goes on, I find a solution to the problem, and that's when the weight dissipates, and I don't feel confused anymore.
如果说现在就想独立，他也不知道天高地厚了。我想，先继续经营好缘起彼时，不论是为了持续学习烹调咖啡的技术，还是学习如何经营好一间咖啡馆，
只要一直坚持下去，总有一天一定能找到属于你的道路。不过，你可别只专注在你的咖啡上，也该看看周遭的人呐。
It hasn't reached me yet what Uncle Zhang is talking about, watching him finish what coffee is left in the mug. Even the raspberry milk crepe cake on the table is long gone.
恋爱呀，恋爱，享受生活也是很重要的，傻孩子。
Bowen lowers his head, feeling flustered, his face a bit pale before it gradually starts turning red, spreading to his neck, giving him a very timid look.
怎么？我瞧你这脸红模样， 该不会
？Origin's door opens once again, this time in a much more stylish manner, followed by a loud and clear male voice.
哟，今天宇恒这么早来是吧？
Benedict Wong quickly walks over to me and pats me on the shoulder.
啊，这位老先生是
张叔。
I'm not a voice. I'm not doing voices for this one.
哦，原来您就是张叔啊，久仰大名。常常听见于恒的父母提到您呢。
Benedict Wong salutes Uncle Zhang at the bar.
我不过就是个年过半百的老头子，哪有什么值得提的？
Uncle Zhang says as Benedict Wong makes him laugh.
嗨，好了，既然店长都已经出现在店里了，看来你们也差不多是该为开店做事前准备了吧？我这老人家就不在这叨扰你们年轻人了。
张叔，你别这么说，不影响的。
就是啊，张叔，这不我才刚来您就走，我都还没时间和您讨教呢。
哎呀，真是爱说笑，哪有什么好讨教的？我不过就是个普通老人罢了。
And nothing else. Uncle Zhang stands up from his seat and gently pats his clothes before leaving the shop.
既然张叔不便多留，那就让我送您出去吧。
Benedict Wong takes off his apron, leads the way for Uncle Zhang, and opens the front door for him.
谢谢你啊，年轻人。
Uncle Zhang smiles at Benedict Wong.
小事小事。
张叔，您回去小心。
没问题的。啊，于恒，你可别忘了我最后和你说的啊。追求咖啡的同时享受生活，在人生旅途中可是占了很重要的部分呢。
知道了。
I'm not sure what to do with Uncle Zhang's wise words of advice, other than to scratch my head. Uncle Zhang sees my awkwardness and walks away, smiling.
Wow.
I think it's the sudden change in temperature here, because my sinuses feel like they're draining something fierce. That's why I keep muting myself so I could cough and stuff. It was below freezing yesterday, and now it's up to currently 75 degrees, just massive 40-degree change in temperature. Or 18-degree change in temperature Celsius. Benedict Wong returns to the bar with an over-exaggerated voice.
干嘛？
我瞧你这模样，不单纯啊，不单纯。不如你跟我说说，刚刚张叔跟你聊了些什么啊？
Benedict Wong puts his weight on my shoulder, face next to my ear. I can even see him smiling from the corner of my eye. That grin of his.
还能聊些什么？
我似乎听到享受生活什么的。
享受生活怎么了？你就不享受生活吗？
可是，一般人听见享受生活的时候，反应可不会是像你现在这样，红着脸，羞涩的跟个小男孩似的。想哪去啦？
我才想问你想哪去了？
是不是想到那个小女生啦？
Yes.
顾希凡。
I push away Benedict Wong with my elbow after he blind guesses what is troubling me. Benedict Wong looks like someone who just wants to listen to gossip, which is making me feel anxious.
平常都看不出你有什么情绪，现在倒是能让我一眼就看出你在想什么呢。
店长，你还要不要做开店准备了？
没事没事，谁没有过那种情窦初开、懵懵懂懂的时候啊？
准不准备啊？
要，肯定要啊。
Benedict Wong lets go and turns around to arrange the seats and tables in the cafe. Without any thought, words slip from my tongue, looking at Benedict Wong's back. Benedict Wong stops what he was doing and looks at me, confused.
你谈过恋爱吗？
I wasn't expecting that face in this game.
这什么问题呀、于恒？
Benedict Wong is usually a well-mannered, gentle guy. This is the first time Bowen sees Benedict Wong laugh like that. One hand on the wall, the other holding his stomach, laughing uncontrollably, hysterically. The whole cafe is filled with his laughter.
不说就算了。
说，我怎么会不说？肯定说。
Benedict Wong finally stops laughing, wiping the tears from his eyes, walks toward me, and sits down in front of me at the bar. Maybe it's the awkwardness that's making me avoid eye contact with Benedict Wong.
怎么会害羞？是不是？
Benedict Wong uses his hand to hold up his pearl white face, his brown pupils giving away a small grin, his pampered smile from ear to ear, looking perfect.
才没有。
Benedict Wong crosses his arms in front of his chest, his body language suggesting he doesn't believe a word he's saying, as if he's waiting for something funny to happen.
是你笑得太夸张。
He said, pouting.
谁让你问这么有趣的问题？
到底是要说还是不要说啊？
好啦，不闹你了，跟你讲个故事吧。我今年应该满27岁了吧？
连自己的年纪都记不清楚，是不是啊？
Hey, I have to think about it sometimes too. I'm 31, but I don't feel 31.
毕竟我也老大不小了，要记的事情那么多，肯定没办法事事都清楚啊。
借口。
行，你说是借口就是借口吧，反正我也熬不过你。
毕竟，事实胜于雄辩。
还真是嘴上不饶人。
刚好而已。
我想想啊，大概是7、8年前左右吧。
Benedict Wong strokes his chin, eyebrows starting to frown, a grave expression on his face.
差不多是我大学时期的故事吧。差不多就是我来缘起工作的那时候。那时候我不是交了个女朋友吗？
哦，对啊，那不是你的初恋吗？还记得你那阵子每天喜滋滋的，开心的跟什么一样。
Benedict Wong nods vigorously as he listens.
毕竟那可是我的初恋嘛。
你这段感情不是还蛮稳定的？记得维持了大概3年多，不是吗？
乍看之下是蛮稳定的。要说不稳定嘛，也不稳定。
Benedict Wong shrugs and laughs, his gentle eyes looking at the puzzled Bowen, as if he were looking at himself from 7 or 8 years ago.
笑什么？
我应该没和于恒说过我和他最后分开的原因吧？
没说过。
He broke up with her? Jerk.
只记得你分手那阵子，每天都过得浑浑噩噩，行尸走肉，逢人就问是不是自己不够好。
哇，想不到你都记得哎，是不是很关心我啊？
Benedict Wong chuckles and rubs Bowen's hair.
别弄了。而且，我才没有特别关心你。你那时候那么夸张，有眼睛的都看得出来，你饱受失恋之苦，好吗？
我那时候有这么夸张是不是啊？
你说呢？
唉，其实到现在我也不知道，到底那时候选择放手是对的，还是错的。
Benedict Wong's eyes stare at the distant sky, like his spirit is suddenly in another dimension. Benedict Wong, normally joyful and joking around, goes silent all of a sudden, leaving me unsure what to do in that moment. It feels hard to say something comforting between two men. It would feel disingenuous to say something comforting, so I just sit there quietly looking at that depressed man in front of me, waiting for him to open up.
你知道的，我的梦想从一开始就很明确。我喜欢咖啡，所以我想煮出全世界最好喝的咖啡。我想要拥有属于自己的一间咖啡馆。
我知道。
I nod slowly and reply softly.
关于我的梦想，这些事在我和他交往之前，他就知道了。那时候的我，闲来无事就和他高谈阔论着关于咖啡的梦想，而他也总是两眼弯弯，笑着听我诉说。是他陪伴着我，和我一起建筑我的梦想，给了我各式各样的建议。
Benedict Wong's fingertips move slowly back and forth on the edge of the table, looking like he is thinking of how to tell this old story.
我知道，我一直都知道每个人的志向、喜好都不相同，所以我也不可能去要求他和我一样喜欢咖啡。他不需要和我有一样的梦想，但是我以为至少他是认同我的梦想。我以为他是支持我去追寻我的梦想的。
他不是吗？
I know I might look a bit confused right now. That's because I still don't know where the turning point of the story is.
他并不支持，或者应该说，如果这是我的生涯理想职业，那他觉得我们并不是那么适合。
啊？
看你这表情，就知道你肯定不懂其中道理了吧？真好啊，果然是涉世未深的小毛孩，还是那么天真无邪。
谁跟你小毛孩啊？
那不然你就看看我说的对不对？
Benedict Wong looks at an agitated Bowen with a grin.
你现在肯定在想，这跟适不适合有什么关系，对吧？要知道，在我们还是学生时代的时候，那个时期的恋爱啊，是最纯粹的，不需要去面对任何现实层面的问题。
Kinda.
总是觉得只要我喜欢对方，而对方也喜欢我，那就好了。如此，这段感情就能够好好维持下去。你觉得对吗？
Benedict Wong looks at me and just smiles.
大概吧。
是呀，我学生时代的时候也是这样想的。可是呢，当我们大学毕业之后要面对的，就是一切现实层面的问题。考虑到现实层面，就不能只是彼此喜欢了，得考虑到彼此的成长背景、价值观、未来规划等等。
He slowly reaches out his thin hands and murmurs, spreading his fingers one by one.
所以他觉
得我把对咖啡的喜欢当作是梦想，可以。
Oh, that's a deal breaker.
但若是想要当做未来生计、职业，他认为这是一件非常不切实际、非常幼稚的事。
Is making your dreams your career a childish thing? Listening to Benedict Wong speak, my head goes blank. I don't know who was right, and I don't understand what the moral of the story is.
而且，这难道不能谈吗？或许可以找到相交点呢。你们没有两个人坐下来好好尝试去谈吗？
有啊，我好几次都找他，希望可以和他两个人好好谈谈。可是我们每一次的交谈结果都是一样的。我认为咖啡是我的梦想，我无法放弃，而且我并不认为梦想不能当作吃饭工具。而他认为这只能是兴趣，并不能将理想当作未来生活的目标。
就让本少爷用一句话来概括店长你的初恋故事。简单来说呢，就是觉得你没前途又没前途啦。
This guy. But yeah, I mean that's a legit thing when you're an adult and you have to make those decisions. Yeah, relationships can be a lot tougher when you're grown up and growing up than when you're growing up. Suddenly, a bright and familiar male voice breaks my silence, walking in with swag and sitting next to me and Benedict Wong.
喂，你是什么时候进来的？悄无声息的。
Just appeared like a genie.
其实进来蛮久的欸，我是从后门进来的啦。一进门就看见你们表情严肃的在聊八卦。那作为专业情报员的我，肯定先躲一波，偷看你们讲什么秘密啊。
Alvin Zhang says with confidence while fixing his hair messed up by the wind.
老天，就算是后门，我居然连你开门的声音我都没听见，还让你鬼鬼祟祟的偷听了这么久。
I love that face. Benedict Wong looks hopelessly at the smiling Alvin Zhang, the emotions of the two exact opposites. Looking at this image, it suddenly strikes me as particularly funny.
嘿嘿，看来我可能有当刺客的天赋，是该把技能点点到最高了。
哎，宇恒，这可是你朋友哎，他发什么神经啊？是最近又迷上了什么游戏是不是？
别把他的事扯到我身上。关于他，我是什么都不知道啊。
I have never met this person in my life.
哎，吴宇恒，你话这么讲可就伤人喽。看到没？看到没？地上满满的玻璃碎片，那都是我的玻璃心啊！
开玩笑啊，我这辈子啊就没见过像你这么厚脸皮的人。
我同意。
我这样还不是为了活络大家的气氛？你们得寸进尺是不是啊？
我们怎么敢呢？您真是客气了，客气了。
Watching Benedict Wong and Alvin Zhang go back and forth, I can't help but laugh. No matter the trouble or difficulty, there's always a solution.
哎，不是，快点回归正题啊！你们就说说我刚刚替店长初恋故事做的概述，觉得我说的对不对啊？
Alvin Zhang rapidly looks at me and Benedict Wong, wanting to get an answer from us. Benedict Wong just smiles and says nothing, nudging his chin to hint Alvin Zhang to wait for my answer.
怎么样啊，于和？
我觉得可能有点偏差，因为如果真的是照你这样说的话，实在是
太现实了。
Just as I'm stressing about which word is more appropriate, Benedict Wong slowly opens up, his face showing a helpless smile. Even though it's not my fault, I feel awkward looking at Benedict Wong.
不用觉得奇怪啊，我那时候也是这么想的。
My face couldn't hide the fact that I didn't know what to do. Benedict Wong looks at my helpless face, smiling and speaking.
那时候，所以现在你不这么觉得了吗？
不知道哎，我想我还没找到最好的答案。那不然换我问你吧，你为什么觉得这太现实呢？
为什么吗？
Man, I'm going to need that break. I look at Alvin Zhang's bright smile sitting across from me before replying slowly.
很简单啊，因为我认为每个人都是不同的个体，两个人相处需要磨合是必须的，哪有可能会有所谓的天生一对？这世界上不可能有两个人就跟拼图一样，就这么完完整整的切进去。那既然互相喜欢的话，为什么不能尝试去磨合呢？
Benedict Wong sits there silently listening to my point of view, his eyes closed, and a faint smile on his face. He looks a bit helpless and a bit somber.
我想那时候的文言哥一定就和现在于恒的想法一样，对吧？
Alvin Zhang says.
一模一样。我觉得只要两个人还互相喜欢，没有什么是不能磨合的。 那时候我问他：“那你还喜欢我吗？”他和我说：“就算我还喜欢你，那又如何？喜不喜欢跟适不适合是两件事情，并不能混为一谈。”他说，他以前也跟我一样，觉得喜欢就够了。可是现在我们已经要毕业了，我们要面对的是现实。我们早就已经过了过家家的年纪。现在的我们要考虑的太多，不是只要喜欢彼此就能够解决一切。
Benedict Wong brushes off the topic with an indifferent expression, as if he wasn't talking about himself.
可是，既然你们俩还互相喜欢的话，为什么他所说的不也只是有可能不适合吗？
对啊，只是有可能。他告诉我，或许我觉得两个人要走下去，要努力，要磨合是很正常的。但是当我们为了彼此互相配合的时候，或许我们内心层面都心甘情愿的这么做，但那并不是我们本质上的做自己。当我们总是这样不停的我配合你，你配合我，两个人在一起迟早会有不舒服的心情出现。有一天我们俩互相喜欢的感觉也会渐渐被消磨殆尽，最后就会闹到分手，然后说彼此一开始就不适合，就不应该在一起，最终连朋友都做不成。
Benedict Wong smiles at me with his warm smile after making his point.
玉恒，你是不是觉得听完文言哥说的，感觉女生说的其实并不是没有道理啊？
总觉得女生会这么说，也并不是没有逻辑可言。
This is a really long conversation, my goodness. It technically started with Uncle Zhang. When did he come in? Like 45 minutes ago.
可是，同时我又觉得，两个人什么都没有尝试过，没有磨合过，就这样单方面的直接替这段关系判下死刑，以后回想起来，会留下遗憾的。
玉恒，你知不知道，我现在看着你，就好像看到了以前的自己。
As he finishes speaking, the atmosphere in the room is silent. If you look closely, it's as if you could see a cloud of loneliness behind him. The room is silent for about a minute. Then Benedict Wong smirks and slowly says,
那时候，我也是这样和他反驳的。我跟他说，我们人生就一次，要是很多事情现在不做，未来说不定会后悔。那为什么不愿意去尝试看看呢？
那他怎么说？
The movement on Alvin Zhang's eyes hints he is curious.
他只是不断地告诉我，要把喜欢跟适不适合分开来看。既然我们根本的价值观不同，无法各退一步，就不应该去强求。
两个人之间的根本价值观吗？
没错，所以他和我说，我和他没有谁做错了什么，只是价值观不同而分开。所以不要觉得是不是自己做错了什么，更不要去质疑自己是不是不应该把咖啡当作是自己的梦想。
That is actually really mature of this girl person.
这我认同啊。在感情里，从来就没有真正的谁对谁错。毕竟感情这种东西，它不像数学有一套公式可解，更不是是非题。你再怎么寻找它，都不会有正确答案的。
No, I don't want to do that. Let me do a safety save, so I don't accidentally lose all my progress.
是啊，那时候的我并不懂他所谓的不适合，更不懂为什么明明互相喜欢，却不给彼此一个机会去努力、去磨合。即便是到了现在，已经这么多年过去了，我还是不知道自己那天所做的决定，是否会让未来的自己感到后悔。或许未来的某一天我会理解吧。于恒，我说了这么多，只是想要告诉你，你要记住，这世界上是没有后悔药可以吃的。未来你不管做什么事，最少都要做到问心无愧，不要让未来的自己后悔。即便你有可能会因为做了这件事而伤痕累累，那也没有关系， 至少这都证明了你曾经努力过。你要相信着，任何人、事、物，它今天会出现在你的生命里，一定有它存在的意义。也许它是要逼迫你成长，也或许它将会替你带来些什么。当然，我所说的这些东西不仅仅只适用于感情，包含你对你的梦想一样也是如此。
Fair.
我知道。
That's pretty good advice, actually.
你也一样啊，张佐奇，记住我所讲的，刚刚讲的可都是肺腑之言，听到赚到，懂不懂啊？
知道，我怎么会不知道？俗谚说得好啊，不听老人言，吃亏在眼前。
老你，谁跟你老啊？
He's 26 years old.
哎，文言哥，你刚刚是不是差点飙脏话
？Reminds me of the that one Simpsons gif. I'm 31 years old.
才没有。
也不知道是谁讲话这么不长心眼呢。
嘿，不是，老男人对年轻小女生来说好有魅力的啊。
That's true, for some reason.
所以文言哥不要否认自己的年纪啊。
我看你就别多做解释了，长这么大还不知道话说出口就来不及的道理。在我耳里听来，你现在讲的这些都是马后炮。
怎么这样啊？
活该。
张佐奇你真该庆幸我心眼儿大，不然我看你就要小心随时会被我赶出门，永远禁止踏入缘起彼时。
Oh man.
不是吧，我的文言好哥哥啊，小弟我不就是跟你开玩笑吗？哎，你可别当真啊。
Alvin Zhang asks for forgiveness while bowing to Benedict Wong with his palms together. Looking as if he is using every trick in the book, he uses his exaggerated movement to show Benedict Wong he regrets shooting off his mouth. Benedict Wong smiles at Alvin Zhang's attempt and pats his shoulder as if nothing is out of the ordinary. After all, every employee at Origin is already used to the exaggerated person Alvin Zhang is. It's just another day at work. If he suddenly stopped being so dramatic, I'm sure the others would be worried if he was sick or something. Just thinking about it makes me laugh.
好了，故事该听的都听完了，那是不是应该要开工啦？
哎，我原本在想，看你们聊得这么尽兴，还以为文言哥会宣布临时放你们一天假呢。
Alvin Zhang gloatingly says.
怎么感觉你比于恒还期待放假？你又不是员工。
You don't even work here.
那是自然，这样我才能找我的好朋友逍遥去啊。
我可不记得我有答应过你，放假就要陪你逍遥。
I jokingly say as I look at Alvin Zhang.
哎，你话这样讲，我可就真难过了哦。
Alvin Zhang says. He immediately grabs my shoulder and shakes me back and forth with force. I feel that if we give him some music and something emotional, his eyes are going to burst out in tears. It goes without saying that it's best to put him in the spotlight. Let everyone focus on him, he'll perform better that way.
不是，你不管我有没有休假，几乎是有空就待在缘起，我看都看腻了。
你今天的炮火有点猛烈，我对你的一片赤诚真心都被你无情的践踏了。
于恒，你平常得应付他，还真是辛苦你了。
Benedict Wong says as he laughs and pats my shoulder.
文言哥，有件事想跟你商量一下。
怎么了吗？
前阵子，千灵有跟我提到说，大家来到缘起也有一段时日了，好像都没有安排过一些活动。怎么说，就是那一种促进员工感情的活动。
好像挺不错的。
Benedict Wong stops and lowers his head to think.
等等，按照这个剧情发展，该不会是打算要筹办缘起全体员工的第一次员工旅游吧？
After Alvin Zhang finishes, I can see stars in his eyes as he looks at Benedict Wong, full of hope, like he is blessed with happiness.
想不到郭千灵平时看起来冷冰冰的模样，还能提出这么人性的活动啊！ 可以可以，我对这冰山改观了，我很期待，超期待。
哎，不是，就算缘起办了员工旅游，也不关你的事啊，你开心什么啊？
He's not even an employee. Come on.
对啊，你又不是缘起的员工，你期待什么？
你们也太冷漠了吧！好说歹说，我们都一起在缘起待了这么久。
那你说说，我们有人逼你来缘起吗？
你来这不也都是在做你自己的事？这样说起来，我都没跟你收水电费，你还硬生生的占了一个位置呢。那你说我这店长是不是做的有点失职啊？
别，文渊哥，你这样我很怕。
Benedict Bro.
这是恐吓，这绝对是货真价实的恐吓。于恒，你看文渊哥啦，好邪恶，好没良心哦。
看来你对词汇的引用有些误解，这怎么会是恐吓呢？况且，这是你俩的口角战争，可不关我的事啊！别想扯到我头上来，逼着我选边站。
Leave me out of this. I motion with my hand from left to right to let Alvin Zhang know I'm not interested in participating in this nonsense.
张左奇，你别想了，就算你想让于恒加入战局，我看你的胜率也是
不去就不去嘛。
Alvin Zhang looks like a poor stray who has been bullied, raising both hands, indicating he surrenders. Benedict Wong and I look at poor Alvin Zhang, then look at each other, unable to disguise our smiles.
行了，少在那边装可怜。
在你心中，你文言哥我有这么冷血是不是？
诶
Alvin Zhang raises his head and stares at me and Benedict Wong with puppy eyes.
条件是你要负责员工旅游的全部 schedule 安排。
And Benedict Wong says as he pats Alvin Zhang's head.
哦，这有什么问题？不愧是我们文言哥啊！除了我爸妈之外，全世界对我最好的，果然就非你莫属了。啊，于恒，我知道你对我也很好，你们可别为了我争风吃醋哦。
After hearing Benedict Wong's response, Alvin Zhang is unable to hold back his excitement, jumping up and down as he cheers, his left hand on Benedict Wong's shoulder and his right hand on mine.
脸皮可以厚到像你这种地步的，我这辈子还真的没见过几个呢。
没错，我不能同意更多了。
这不正凸显了我在你们心中的独一无二吗？
Alvin Zhang proudly rubs his nose, winking his left eye at us. As usual, we pretend we don't see any of this, turning around like nothing happened.
哦，那这样，文言哥是同意办这个活动了吗？
没什么问题啊，我觉得千灵这个提议挺好的，促进员工感情，有助于大家为了咖啡店共同努力的向心力。
不过，举办员工旅游的确切时间、详细内容就交给你们讨论喽。你们就当做是顺便学习学习怎么安排活动。
没问题。那可能这阵子我们就找时间跟大家一起讨论吧。
哇哦，没问题！不管是什么活动，怎么样的什么安排，只要是热闹的，我通通都喜欢。
热闹的你都喜欢是吧？
就是啊。
那刚好，最喜欢热闹的我姐姐吴思画也打算赶回来参加呢。
Oh, can't wait to meet his sister in the flesh, not over the phone like we've already met her.
哦，思画姐终于排假回来休息啦。
And now we got his face on Alvin.
好久没见到她了呢。张左奇，你干嘛啊？
Benedict Wong suspiciously looks at the silent Alvin Zhang.
我没什么，就是突然之间觉得头有点痛。
这大概就是王不见王的概念吧。
I put my arm around Alvin Zhang's shoulders, looking at Alvin Zhang's pain with a smirk.
啊，这么说起来，张左奇从小时候开始，在思画姐面前好像总是很沉默呢。
Benedict Wong watches Alvin Zhang drag his chin, leaning on his left arm as he comes to this realization.
我就是有点不知道怎么应付他。
你就用你这张最自豪的帅气脸蛋不就行了？
Not sure why I start fooling around. I can't help wanting to make fun of Alvin Zhang's desires.
你就别笑话我了，你不也不太会应付你姐姐吗？
不会啊，面对他这种类型的，我采取的办法就是跟面对你一样的方法就行了。
什么意思啊？你面对我都是用什么办法？
无视。
Shots fired.
面对这类型的人啊，这的确是好办法。
我是思华姐哦。
怎么？你舍不得吗？
谁跟你舍不得？
哇，文言哥看到没？这就是标准的恼羞成怒。
看到了，看到了。
Me and Benedict Wong both look at Alvin Zhang's blushing face, laughing unabashedly. This is probably the first time we see Alvin Zhang distressed, especially when talking about women. I've never seen Alvin Zhang not able to squeeze some words out. After all, he's usually a smooth guy with the ladies. Seeing him clueless like this is uncharacteristic of him.
你们够了哦，不要逼我对你们残忍哦。
哎，别算到我头上，我可没逼你哦。
Benedict Wong says, laughing.
没事啊，我姐她又不会吃了你。放轻松，放轻松。
I smile and say to Alvin Zhang as I turn around to continue preparing to open the shop. Alvin Zhang, left standing in the middle of the coffee shop, looks soulless without moving an inch. I think the reason everyone likes to mess with Alvin Zhang is because they enjoy seeing him like this. You can always tell how he's feeling by looking at his face. He can never hide his emotions.
哎，玉恒，我说六神无主，大概就是说张左奇现在这模样吧。
Benedict Wong quietly speaks into my ear, pointing in Alvin Zhang's direction.
差不多吧。
I raise my head a little bit, looking at the silent, empty Alvin Zhang with a smile. My word, that was such a long scene.
欢迎光临。
And it's still not done. Her shirt says A-E-I-O-U, but the U is a smiley face. As soon as the bell rings, everyone looks over to the entrance, only to see a smiling Bella Chin walking toward us.
于恒，于恒，上次千里喝的咖啡好香啊，我也想喝喝看，不过我想要再更浓一点。
千灵上次喝的吗？
If I remember correctly, Layla Guo has always enjoyed coffee with a grapefruit and blackberry aroma. Get behind the bar and brew some coffee. Let's do this. What was it? It was the Kenya AA. Yes! That's it. Let's try and get this perfect. 32 and 38 grams? Nope. Too much. Try again. Oh, that's pretty much perfect. Okay, 2.5. Right there. A plus! Give that to me! Ugh! I know nothing about coffee. Well then, leave it to the pros to brew.
就是这个味道，真的好香啊！
Bellachen says, satisfied after taking a whiff of the coffee aroma. Nailed it! That was such a long chapter. My goodness, we are both workaholics.
欢迎光临。
Ah, him again. I miss Kathy Goo. I like Kathy Goo. I miss her. I want to see her again.
我又来了，于恒。
是张叔啊。
I remember Uncle Zhang always likes fragrant, rich, and dark roasted coffee. Uncle Zhang doesn't like sour flavors. What kind of beans are fitting for Uncle Zhang? No sour. No sour stuff. Sour is a no-no. There was one of these that was like stupid sweet, like... like so sweet it I'd like to say Panama Geisha. Man. Oh no. Well, it's not this one because this says it tastes sweet and sour at the same time, so it's not. No sour whatsoever. There was one that Joe said was like so sweet it hurts. This one is not bitter in the least, so it's probably not sour. So I'd like to say maybe. I'm going with it. Okay, 32 to 36 again, or 38 rather. I really need to make it more on the high end. Let's go with that. $2.5 again. Let's go with that. Only a B. Did I get the flavor wrong? Is that why it's a B?
还是差了一点火候呢，于恒。
I think we got the flavor wrong. I'm not sure how much time has passed when I realized the sky is turning dark. It's already time to close. Looking through the window, I could see a few shops with their lights still on, seeing how quiet it is. We were filled with customers until just now.
辛苦啦。
Just when I start to relax after a long day of work, someone suddenly gently pats me on the shoulder, catching me off guard for a bit, but quickly clearing up my mind.
原来是你啊，文言哥。
怎么，吓到你啦？
没什么，就是有点恍神而已。
是啊，今天这样一整天累了吧？也不知道今天是怎么了，客人忽然一整个大暴增，差点就应付不过来了。
哇塞，今天缘起也太多人了吧！
You're one of them. Alvin Zhang jumps towards Benedict Wong. Benedict Wong can't be bothered to move, so he just lets Alvin Zhang cling to him.
不是早上才刚来过，怎么现在又来了？
Benedict Wong shifts his head back and asks,
No，你们瞧瞧，给你们带了什么来？
Alvin Zhang shakes the bag in his hand, a delicious barbecue flavor coming from the bag.
想不到你还带炭烤肉串来呀、真是难得
Skewers?
你有心了。
Oh man, I can't remember the last time I had skewers. I see a joyful look in Alvin Zhang's eyes.
不过今天又不是什么特殊节日，怎么人这么多啊？
不知道，不过这阵子确实有客源突然暴增的情况。
Comic Con. We'll only bet it's a Comic Con crowd.
真辛苦啊！
没事，虽然累了点，不过客人多总归是件好事。
是没错啦。那文言哥有没有给你们加薪啊？人家逢年过节不都会加薪吗？
那你说，今天这能算是逢年过节吗？
Benedict Wong coldly responds.
我是指忙碌程度跟逢年过节一样嘛。我也不过就是替全体辛苦的工作人员问问看嘛。
我只想劝你，做人还是认命点，少点抱怨，你的人生会好过一点。
行。哎，宇航，你瞧那小姑娘是还在翻译吗？
Oh, is Kathy Goo still in the corner? Alvin Zhang softly pulls my sleeves and points in her direction.
应该是吧。
西凡他该不会就这样在这里待了一整天吧？宇航，你是不是去关心一下人家？
啊？现在吗？
我的老大哥，不然你觉得呢？难不成是我去哦？
还是我去？
Benedict Wong has laughter in his eyes and a mocking grin on his face. I look at the two of them.
怕啥？有啥好怕？
我只是在想，怕会打扰到他做事。
Hello, Senior. How are you?
想，有什么好想？想关心就去关心啊！来，你说你想不想关心他？
想吧。
Looking at Alvin Zhang's intense facial expression, combined with his anxiousness, is making me feel awkward and unsure what to say.
想的话，那就赶紧去。男子汉大丈夫，别扭扭捏捏的。
我这次支持左奇。
Benedict Wong says to me with his usual warm smile on his face.
去，你快去啊！这里就交给文言哥跟我整理就行了。能让本大爷无偿又心甘情愿的替你收拾，这绝对是绝无仅有的机会啊！
Alvin Zhang pushes me from behind to force me out of the bar.
等等，
I go back to the dessert cabinet and take out a slice of cheesecake, pick up a fork and knife, and walk over to where Kathy Goo is sitting. The night outside is reflected on the frail girl in front of me. She's wearing a light pink cashmere sweater with white lining, with a loose-fitting denim dress. Simple, yet elegant. Kathy Goo is probably still translating the materials I gave her. With her head facing down, I can't tell what kind of expression she has on her face. Her curly brown hair sits freely on her shoulder. It has a relaxing cuteness to it. He's so nervous. My head is spinning as I think about how to start this conversation with Kathy Goo, but unconsciously, a sound escapes my throat. The girl slowly looks up after hearing the sound, the curly brown hair that was sitting on the shoulder bouncing around, her white skin silky smooth, brown eyes looking at me with confusion.
是你啊，于恒。
Kathy Goo sees it's Bowen and smiles, her eyes shaped like crescent moons while doing so. Whoever wrote this visual novel definitely went into a lot more detail on her than anything else.
是我。
你快坐下呀！抱歉，桌面被我弄得有些脏乱。
Kathy Goo says while her slim hands try to clean up the mess on the table, hinting to Bowen to hurry up and sit.
没事的。
I pull out the chair and sit down, put down the cheesecake, and start helping her out by stacking the papers on the table.
这个生乳酪蛋糕是给你的。
I gently push the plate with the cheesecake on it toward Kathy Gu.
这怎么好意思？
没事，店都快打烊了，留着也是浪费而已。你就当做是在帮忙吃掉吧。
那就谢谢你了。
Kathy Gu happily picks up the knife and fork, starts slicing the cake, and turns it into small bits before slowly eating.
果然很好吃，浓郁滑顺。
Oh man, cheesecake is so good. I can't remember the last time I had cheesecake. Probably for the best that I haven't in a while. Kathy Gu happily says with a smile as her face starts to have a red hue. If there really is a heaven, Kathy Gu's facial expression must be exactly what it feels like to be in heaven. At least, that's the way I see it. She really likes it.
你喜欢就好。
我看今天你们忙进忙出的，感觉就很忙啊。还好吗？
今天比起以往，确实客人多了许多。不过还行，还在大家能够应付的范围之内。
哈哈，我记得我今天还听见跟你很要好的那位，他个头高高的，留着褐色短发的男生。
张左奇。
就是他。我今天也看到他一直大喊着很忙，一边在厨房帮忙洗碗。他明明不是员工的。
张左奇他的性子就是这样子，藏不住自己心里的话。
Although I didn't see it with my own eyes, I can imagine seeing Alvin Zhang all over the place and crying for help.
嘿嘿，你们感情果然很好呢，感觉两个人少了谁都不行，彼此都缺一不可。
不，也没好到那种程度。
After hearing what Kathy Gu had to say about me and Alvin Zhang, I didn't hesitate to shut down that thought.
少骗了，你脸都红了。
Kathy Gu sees me in distress and chuckles.
我认为应该是你今天忙了一整天，太累了，所以看走眼。
I unconsciously use my right hand to cover my mouth and chin and cough a few times, trying to pretend I didn't hear a thing she said.
你不承认没关系啊，反正我自己知道自己没看走眼就好。
你
Kathy Gu laughs at me.
拿你没辙。
什么嘛，这样好像是我欺负你一样。你不是拿我没辙，而是因为事实胜于雄辩这个道理。你瞧，如果我所说的是事实，那你自然是辩不过我的。你说我说的有没有道理呀？
行，就依你说的，不说我了。你呢？我看你今天也在咖啡馆待上一整天了，是在弄我之前拜托你帮忙翻译的内容吗？
啊，你是在说这个啊？姑且算是吧。
有没有耽误到你学校的作业啊？
没事的，没事，你别担心我这边的情况。今天我也是先完成了学校的作业，才开始做你拜托我的翻译的。
别本末倒置就好。
放心吧，这点小事我可以应付过来的。
Kathy Gu softly thumps her chest, showing her confidence.
我相信你可以的。不过，你也要别忘了给自己安排休息的时间。
Yeah, breaks are important. Take a break? Right. How come I didn't think of that?
于恒怎么了吗？
It's probably because my sudden silence that makes Kathy Gu wonder, so she asks me.
不，也不是什么大事。其实缘起最近正想要举办一个活动。
活动是咖啡馆的促销活动吗？
不是咖啡馆的促销活动。我最近跟文言哥有想着要举办一个可以促进员工感情的活动。
我知道，就是员工聚餐、员工旅游那类的，对吧？
没错。不过实际上的行程我们还在讨论，可能是简单一起吃顿饭就好，也可能是让大家放个假，举办员工旅游。
如果放假的话，对缘起会有影响吗？
当然会啊，对咖啡馆的营业额肯定会有一定程度的影响。
是啊，那
Kathy Gu lowers her head to think.
要是说完全不影响，那一定是骗人的，或多或少都会有影响，但我想影响不大。
那要是咖啡馆的营运不影响的话，我觉得可以办员工旅游啊。我想想哦，如果你们举办这活动的目的是希望促进员工之间的感情，建立彼此的羁绊的话，那感觉办员工旅游的效益会比起单纯吃顿饭的效益高上许多耶。而且我看你们平常也就蛮常一起吃饭，不是吗？感觉只是吃顿饭的话，我猜员工参与的意愿恐怕不会太高哦，哈哈。
Kathy Gu laughs.
员工旅游啊。
Honestly, I've always stayed indoors, researching anything and everything about coffee. If it were up to me to come up with a suitable destination for a company trip, I'd have no idea what to choose.
那如果是你，你会想去什么地方呢？
我吗？可是我不是你们的员工，如果问我的话，
没事啊，就问问小姑娘你的意见，不然你看我们这几个大男人能想出什么好的意见啊？
Benedict Wong suddenly says as he stands behind us, smiling.
店长。
没事没事，你别拘谨，叫我文言哥就好。
It's like the third time he's told her this. Benedict Wong grabs a chair from the table next to us and sits down. So this conversation is going to go for a lot longer. Okay.
已经收拾好了。
店内已经收拾的差不多了，看你们还在聊，就过来听听啦。
抱歉，没帮忙收拾到。
哎，小事，客气什么啊？下次换你收拾回来不就得了？
没问题。
啊，所以如果要办员工旅游的话，希凡你怎么看？
我怎么看啊？文言哥，你们打算放几天啊
？3天2夜。
Of course. Without turning around to look, I can hear Alvin Zhang's loud and bright voice coming out of nowhere, shouting toward us. You don't even need to look to know who's shouting.
喂，
我觉得最少也要来个3天2夜的旅游吧。
Alvin Zhang hangs on my shoulders, saying,
3天2夜啊？
会不会放太多啊？
好像有一点哎。
不是吧？难道你们本来只打算安排那种当天来回的行程吗？这种行程根本什么都玩不到，好不好？
Alvin Zhang suddenly gets pumped up.
你们想想，如果只能安排1天的话，不就代表我们只能去附近晃晃吗？要是只能在附近晃晃，那大家哪里还会想去啊？大家自己平常出去瞎晃，不早就晃惯了吗？
左奇说的倒也不是没有道理，
是吧？那你们再听我细细分析哦。要是我们安排了一个远一点的地方，但要是只有1天可以休假，那整个行程是不是就几乎被搭车时间给占满了？
Good point.
你们说这样有意义吗？是不是一点意义都没有啊？
Alvin Zhang smacks the table after making his point, giving everyone a small shock. No one expected him to react this way about something as small as a company trip.
虽然你分析的一切都非常有道理，但我怎么就是觉得你私心的成分好像更多些啊？
Just a hunch.
哪有？
Alvin Zhang turns away after hearing what I say. I could tell from the side of his face he is blushing.
那不然你们怎么看嘛？你们就说说看，我说的有没有道理？
其实我觉得佐奇说的好像也蛮有道理的。
你们都给我睁大眼睛看清楚了，现在西凡可是站在我这边的哦。你们最好一个一个都给我好好说话。
Now she's the one making the face. Everyone's making that face today. Kathy Gu is confused as Alvin Zhang suddenly calls her name, unsure of what's going on and looking at everyone with her mouth open.
哎，你可别把人家给吓着了。
Benedict Wong seems to know what Alvin Zhang is trying to do and quickly tries to calm things down. Even so, Alvin Zhang ignores Benedict Wong, trying to normalize the situation, and keeps smiling and laughing, looking at me with a very provocative face. Looking at his face and knowing what he is up to after having known him for so long, I can't be bothered to say a thing. I know he is trying to get back at me for the stuff I said about my sister earlier this morning.
那大家怎么看啊？
怎么样，玉恒？你怎么看啊？
我？问我干嘛？决定权又不在我。况且，我刚刚不也同意你分析的很有道理吗？
哦，是这样吧？
你给我走着瞧。
I lower my voice and whisper into Alvin Zhang's ear.
哎呀，约恒，你说什么呢？
Alvin Zhang pretends he didn't hear what I said and begins to shout.
我说，看文言哥怎么决定，一切尊重他。
哦，原来你刚刚是这样说的啊，都是我不好。看来我最近耳朵不太好呢。
Sure. Alvin Zhang smirks at me, knowing I can't do anything to him right now. That's why he's so cocky.
哎，文言哥，怎么样？你怎么看？
既然大家都这么说了，那就举办3天2夜的员工旅游吧。
God bless the extended weekend. Benedict Wong agrees to Alvin Zhang's proposal.
哦耶，太好了，可以出去玩了。
I understood, oh yeah! This makes Alvin Zhang so excited he starts jumping up and down again.
不过记得哦，之后该补回来的工作还是得补。
没问题。
至于如果各位有要惜伴的话，我当然也是非常欢迎。
Benedict Wong says as he looks at me with a smile. Bring someone? The strong, silent type. You seem like a man of few words. Silence is golden. Even though there are thousands of words going through my head, nothing is forming a coherent sentence, so I barely say anything and just sit there looking at Kathy Gu. It's obviously very awkward right now.
那西凡，要不要和我们一起去啊？
I guess Alvin Zhang couldn't take it anymore, so he asked Kathy Gu directly to dispel this awkwardness.
耶，我吗？
Kathy Gu is obviously overwhelmed by everything that's going on right now.
可是这是你们的员工旅游，我去的话，
没事没事，这种活动就是人多才好玩啊。不然你看我们咖啡馆才几个人而已。而且你不也正帮忙于恒翻译咖啡的原文书吗？这样算起来，你也能算是我们的一员啊。
是这样吗？
Kathy Gu looks at me confused, and I just smile at her and nod my head.
你瞧，于恒也点头了。我说的没错吧，文言哥？
没错。你别觉得有压力，就当做是跟大家一起同乐，开心就好。时间上有困难的话，我们大家都可以互相协调，彼此配合的。
Benedict Wong carefully explains to Kathy Gu.
那我就恭敬不如从命了。
That's the spirit.
谢谢你们，我很期待。
That's something to look forward to. Seeing Kathy Gu's happy face after she agreed to go, I feel like a huge weight is lifted, and I smile as well. It looks like this will be a very interesting trip.
欢迎光临。
I guess that's his sister. Anyway, that was day 2 of Sunny Café. This game is out now on Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox, so pretty much everything. So, yeah, man, this is such a fun little game. I love those mini games too. It's nice that they give you something to actually try and do that requires a bit of skill, so of course I suck at it. I don't know anything about coffee. Anyway, so this game's available now. Go and get it. Let's see if I can't tell you guys what's coming up here. So, on Sunday, I will be continuing my playthrough of Zhonyan Sword Mist Beyond the Mountains. Shoot! I was supposed to give away codes for this game during the stream. I completely forgot about that. Oh, that's embarrassing. Well, looks like they didn't advertise it, so they must have forgotten too. Well, I'm going to see if I can't stream it again some other time to make up for that. Oops. Anyway, I'll be back on Sunday to play Zhonyan Sword Mist Beyond the Mountains again, and I'm going to be playing Thunder Ray on Tuesday. And this is important. Next week, I will be moving Friday's stream up to Thursday because next weekend I'm going to be gone. So next Friday's stream will be moved up to Thursday, and then we're going to be missing the following Sunday and Tuesday, and I'll be back the following Friday. I'll make that more clear next week, but that's for us to worry about next week. I'll still be back Sunday and Tuesday as usual, so yeah. Sunny Café, out now. I can't believe I forgot to give away the codes. First time I've ever had that problem. Well, anyway, thank you to Dimlord, Andrai, and Senior Steak Fries for being here. Shout out to the lurkers, and shout out to everyone watching on YouTube afterwards. I am going to have to talk with my bosses and figure out that code situation. Maybe I'll play this again next Thursday, or maybe not. I don't know. On behalf of East Asia Soft, I have been Skull. Have yourselves a great day and a great weekend, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.